Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubois Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm going to make a video of talking to men and people that want to be men, I guess I can say at the same time. And it's something that I just know that most of the comments on my channel are from women, but most of my audience is 85% men. That means that 85% of the women are responding and saying something, and 85% of the men are being quiet in silence. And I want to speak to that quiet silence today about something that an interesting comment came in that I've been talking about this escaping and avoiding. And for me personally, it's starting to go really deep. It's starting to get real. The word I use here is intimate with understanding myself and realizing more about me. And I can only speak on the sense of me being a dude, a man. I don't know how women think and view things and do stuff. I just know guys, and I talk to a lot of guys, and I've been around a lot of guys to just realize a lot of things that we're struggling with. And a lot of stuff we're struggling with, we don't talk to anybody about. We just keep it to ourselves. And there's something that was said about the concept of sometimes it's needed, and most cases not even sometimes, but it's needed to avoid your temptations. That's going to be able to help you out or do something for you. For a woman, I don't know, that might work out for you. But as far as men, we can't do that. We can't avoid what we're tempted, and we can't even say go head first into it. We have to get to the stance that we're indifferent to it. And the moment that you start avoiding something, so I'm going to speak on the few things that I know that us men we struggle with in our lives. And one of that is greed. One of that is lust, a big thing of lust. I know a lot of guys are stuck on this lust. And lust is one thing that, in reality, why most men are struggling with it is because they're trying to avoid it. You're trying to do what, like, don't take this the wrong way, but you're trying to do what women tell you to do on how to overcome lust. And you can't listen to a woman talk about that because everything in their body is different. And if you don't believe that, get a female and a male dog. Keep them both. And the main thing behind this is keep them both intact so they both have that genetic makeup in them. The boy has more testosterone than the female does, like exponentially. And the girl has more estrogen than the male does, like exponentially. And tell me that they're the same. They're not the same. And I can't do stuff, and they can't interact with each other in the sense of get over this. So I can't say to my girl, she can't give this boy advice on how to get through his lust. It's just not gonna work because they're not the same. They're not made up the same. So advice from a woman in that stance is in reality gonna lead you to failure, because what is the main thing that's said about it? Avoid it, run away from it. Don't look at it. Don't just keep yourself away from it. And it's going to hopefully at some point, maybe just magically disappear, but it doesn't. The more that you avoid it, the more that you run away from it, the more that you try to escape it, the deeper it gets, the stronger it gets. The more will that you have that you just desire it, and then it starts to become an all day, all the time obsession. An obsession. That's to the greed, lust, to envy, jealousy, all of these things. The more that you're running away from it, the more it becomes an obsession. And a big thing that's struggling today with a lot of young guys is the lust. You become addicted to wanting to do it. And the biggest thing is you don't speak up to anybody about it. You do it behind closed doors. You're doing it in ways, and you're trying to portray to the world as if you don't do it. Like, I'm not a part of that. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm going to 100% fact state, yes, you are dealing with issues like this. And you're not dealing with it, I believe, in the right way. And there is a right way. And there is a guideline that is able to help us to be able to know the right way. And that right way comes down to a prayer. And me, I'm a Bible believer, and personally, a lot of these techniques, a lot of this information has been able to help me out in such a way. It's helped me out in such a way of being able to get through the problem and not running away from it. And not even get through it by trying to go into it, but literally just doing nothing about it and just realizing that it's there. Because there's something very interesting, because it comes down to the main prayer. The Bible teaches you how to pray. All this extra, please pray for my health, pray for my safety, pray for my animal safety, pray for my grandma, pray for my grandpa, pray for those that are sick. There's no such thing as prayers as that. That's just, we're speaking. And that's, to me personally, I believe we're speaking to something that we need not to be speaking to. There's a specific way that God is looking for us to be able to pray, to be able to get the answers that you're looking for. And it comes down to this simple prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us this day our bread. Make sure that I can eat. It doesn't talk about please make sure my car gets fixed. Please make sure my house is good. No, just please give me food. Because when you have food and you have a known guaranteed source of food, this is the thing on how the animals, dogs especially, all the animals, my cows, everything. This is the part when they have guaranteed food and they know food is coming, it calms them down in such a way that it's like now you can finally live. And this is something that's struggling us today because most people are the prices of food today are going insane. And it's just ridiculous. I spent $70 yesterday on stuff that should have cost me $15. It's getting crazy and it's putting you in fear of, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to eat. And God is saying, pray to me that I'm going to be able to give you something to eat, that I'm going to give you what you need to be able to live. Everything else is a luxury. Being able to eat is all that we really need. We can live here. We literally can. So nowadays we're getting far away from it, but we can literally live here. We can deal with this. And he says, just trust me in that. And you pray to God and say, I need some food. And then the next part is one of the most powerful in my mind, but the next part after that is even more powerful. So I can't even put a list of 1 to 10 of what's the greater here because it's all equal. It's all powerful. It's all a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. It's an A++. And there's a little bit of extra credit in here as well. The extra credit comes down to make in heaven what it is on earth here for me now, right now, not later on when I pass away, but right now. Bring your kingdom to me now, in this moment. I don't need to die to get to it. I want it now where I'm living. That's the extra credit I can say that's brought in there. But it says to forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. And in other versions, they say it just forgive those that have trespassed against me and I'll forgive. We're forgiving. And the thing here is forgive us as you forgive. You forgive us as we are going to forgive others. It's a back and forth thing here. God's not going to forgive if you're not willing to forgive. And if you're not willing to forgive, you're not doing the main thing that God is looking for us to do. And this is something that is challenging because I don't care who you are. 100% of us, something has been done to us that it doesn't make sense. Somebody has done something to you. Something has happened. Mainly, somebody has done something to you that you can't let it, you just don't want to let it go. It's like your identity in a way of, I was touched, I was abused, I was manipulated, you were all these things. And you like to hold on to that as if like that's who, and God's saying, let that identity go. Shut it away. Just forgive them and move forward. Because they know not what they're doing. They did what they did based on what they know in that moment. And we're not perfect, and there's gonna be weird stuff that happens. And the thing is, God says, forgive them. And watch how God will then forgive the things that you do that start to become what I would say is destructive and just who we are. We mess up on some stuff. We say some things that we shouldn't have said. But it starts, in reality, in my opinion, with us first, and then God will. So all of this is us. God doesn't pray to me. I'm praying to God. So it starts with me accepting that, hey, for one, just straight up, I need some assistance here. And this is where some people are going to get confused and complicated because a lot of people leave very interesting comments on this prayer here is in this Bible, but it's also written in all kinds of other stuff on this planet that we've researched and understood and been able to come to grips with. And that's something for me that it's very interesting on why, how do I say this? I do not pray into the Bible. I do not believe in it in the sense that it is it. I believe that it's information that it's for us to be able to study, to be able to learn from. It's not it. It's not the all source. And someone's going to say, oh, that, hear me out on this. Hear me out on that. It's not it. It's a guideline to be able to show us how to be able to get to it. It's not it. Because that's the biggest thing one of the biggest things that a lot of people just pass up on the whole concept of Jesus, why he was here. It was so that the Spirit of God could be in each of us. And once we get that, that's what we want to rely on. I don't rely on a book. I rely on what's inside of me because of what I'm seeking and what I'm looking for. I don't rely on physical things that I can see and touch and be able to hold and hear. It's something that just comes in my mind. In reality of looking at it, it's more of, I would say, our intuition. That something is going on. Something is explaining stuff to us that it doesn't make sense to us. Things just happen. And a lot of this comes from the concept of just this prayer here, and it's fascinating. This is something that me personally, I think about this and ponder this quite often, especially the forgiveness part. The moment that I don't want to forgive somebody, then why should anything else want to forgive me? Why should anything else even want to understand or even listen or even care about me? That's something that is just real powerful to me. And then this part here is the part that this whole video in reality is, I want to talk about, but whatever, we're here now. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. That's the part that, do not lead us into temptation. I'm asking God, don't lead me into temptation, but deliver me from evil. This is the thing. Lead is like an action word. Don't do anything about my temptations. This is the part where God is in reality separating and saying there are two completely different somethings on this planet. One is what he states is deliver me from evil. And one is what I would say is easiest words for me are just kind, compassionate, forgiving, loving, and just there for you. There's two different entities here, and he's stating that there. Do not lead me into temptation. So basically you're saying, God, that temptation, that's not from you. That's from something else. So please don't put me in it. But the biggest thing here is he says, don't worry about it. Just deliver me from it. Make it go, make it disappear, make it not matter. And the more that you're avoiding it, that's where you're making it matter. You're making it real. So if you have say a problem with let's just stay on that, lust, and you can't quit over obsessing, and you're obsessing, you're trying to run away from it. The more that you run away from it, the more that you're saying to it, it's real. It's real. It's a real problem. It's a real thing because you are purposely trying to set your day up to stay away from it. You're purposely doing it. You're saying, I see that. I know it's real. It's right there. It's there. But in reality, it's in you. And it's in you, but it's right there. I see it. And you see it, and you're now accepting that it's real. You're accepting that there's something going on here. Now you're accepting it. You're saying that is my reality. And now you're trying to stay away from it. But the problem is it's always there. It's everywhere, especially just, what do you call them, the 7 deadly sins or whatever. But the lust it's there. And our world today is, they want it in everything, even down to PG movies today. It's in everything, just showing and sexualizing and it's in everything. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it. The second that you're like, I'll put my blinders on, I'm not going to see it. The second that you move your head 2 inches that way, it's right there again. It's everywhere. And the more that you're trying to avoid it, the more that you're accepting and saying, this is what it is. And you can't escape it. You can't run away from it. You have to just see it. It's there. And now, hey God, I see it. Can you make it go away? Go into it in the sense of doing nothing with it at all. You do not have, this is something that I will state that I know is a fact. And I can't really say too much fact, but just personal, what I see and a fact. It may not be fact, but this is fact. I don't know what else to say it than that. But I forgot what I was going to say right there for a half a second. Give me a second. Sorry, I had to take a break there because I was going to say something. I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. I think it's the first time I'm trying not to say just what I want to say that just comes out. I'm trying to edit myself in a way, and I got a little conflicted by wanting to do that. So I just got to say what I got to say. But the biggest thing I'm going to say is the fact. There's a fact that you cannot get over these, say, issues by yourself. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it. You can't make it happen. And this is the part where in my mind, just straight up, just how I see the world, you need something to help you be able to deal with and get through and overcome the, say, core fundamental issues us as humans have. That's my personal belief in that, in stating just my life experience is seeing this world. We can't do it on our own. And this is the thing where avoiding, you're trying to do it on your own. You're thinking you're powerful enough to make, say, lust disappear from your life, to make greed disappear from your life, to make laziness just disappear from you. You think you're powerful enough. You think you could do enough to be able to make it get better. And in reality, the thing is, the more that you try to do with it, the worse that it keeps getting. The worse and worse, and the more that it just starts to infiltrate more of your life. The more you get put into stickier situations that it's hard for you to even think of possibly ignoring it. It just starts to overwhelm everything in your world. Everywhere that you see, everywhere that you look, it just starts to overcome because you can't possibly just keep running away from it. You can't keep trying to push it under the rug. You can't keep trying to shove it in the closet. The door's going to open. The rug's going to have to get moved. It's going to come out. It's going to be seen and exposed over and over and over again. And this is the part that, in reality, God is stating on what he is capable of being able to do for you. To be able to get that, to be able to allow you to be able to, I like using his terms, but dance through the world. Just get through it. That it's going to be there and you're just going to move on and be like, oh, that doesn't, a good word to use here is, it doesn't trigger me anymore. It doesn't get me to react. It doesn't get me to respond anymore. It's there. And I don't need to try to run from it. It's there. I could walk right past it. I don't need to worry about it. That's the way that we, in reality, want to be able to live on these lands. That is what would stop wars and chaos and fights and all these things that we got going on. Because the more that you're trying to like run away from, say, being jealous and envious, the more you're like trying to, you see something that somebody's doing and it doesn't make sense, and the more you're like, oh, I don't want to see that, you try to run from it, the more that it's just going to keep showing up and showing up and showing up. And this is the part of, what do you call it, Carl Jung and all these guys to talk about your shadow's dark side. This is the part where you have these issues and they are part of, say, a dark side of us. And that's the part that, being a Bible believer, that's the part where, how I said earlier, there's a separation. There's one here and there's one there. There's a separation. It's not the same. It's the same in that it's together, but it's different on completely different sides. And all the lust and the greed and all that stuff is on the, say, on the, I'll put it like that, it's on the darker side of something out there that is trying to control you and move you on this force in this world. And the more that you try to run away from it, the more, and avoid it, the more that you are digging it into you. And the more that you're trying to suppress it. And the problem happens is the things that you're suppressing are what is seen. This is why my personal belief on why so many of y'all are struggling with these dogs is because you are running away from things. You are trying to hide it in your core of who you are, and it starts to manifest out in your reality. And then why do you get so mad? Think about this. Why do so many people get so mad at your kids, your spouse, your dog? When all it is, especially the dog, it's just a dog. But how can it make you so mad? How can it bring you to anger, to frustration? How could it do that? It's just this free floating, moving, just funny, goofy, exciting little animal. That's just like, in reality, just the weirdest pure form of happiness. But how can you get mad at it? Because there's something in you that you're trying to avoid. And as opposed to just going, and not even saying going head first into it, but just recognizing it and stop trying to run away from it. And just say, hey, I need some help with this. And not to even make it go away, but to make me be able to not react and not respond to it anymore. To allow me to be able to just be around it. You want to be in the world, but not of it. And everything on this planet is trying to make us of it. You just want to be around here. You want to be able to move around and be able to do what you got to do without the backlash of all of this stuff getting you to respond, to react, and just getting you to move. You want to be able to have something right there that used to make you move, and you just look at it like, oh, okay, well, whatever. Like, I don't care. You want to become indifferent too. That's why it's just fascinating when I keep thinking about this concept with these dogs and getting them to be indifferent to everything. And in reality, that's what we as humans are looking for. Because the more that you're trying to avoid your lust, your greed, your envy, your jealousy, your all these things, the more you're trying to like suppress it and say, no, that's not really me. I don't really have that. That's not inside of me. And the more you're trying to hide and try to manipulate your own self, even not even try to do it to other people, the more that it's just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And the deeper it gets, the more destructive it gets, because you're going to end up having a something that's going to happen. And this is why this is going to sound messed up. You're here with me this long, but someone could take a snapshot of this right now and just really take it the wrong way. Because again, it goes on to the beginning of this video. How a woman is able to get through lust is going to be none of the same as a man. How she's able to get through jealousy is going to be nothing of the same as a man, because we have a different chemical makeup inside of us. And this is the part where, unfortunate on why, me personally, I'm seeing something that's going to start to get hostile and dangerous in our future, is because we have a lot of women that are trying to teach these boys how to be men, and the concepts are not going to line up. It's not going to be the same. You need, like, what I would say is life experience to be able to know how to be able to deal with things that are going on inside of you and be able to explain that to someone else that is of that same life experience. And this is where a lot of guys are struggling, because we're listening to these concepts of, well, let's go that right there. I don't know why I'm trying to censor what I'm saying. I just don't care. Like a woman trying to say to a guy, a boy, or to how not to look at porn, how to not look at pornography in any way, not to stay away from it. They're going to say, just force yourself not to look at it. Force yourself to get away from it. So you're telling that child to avoid it. And this is a problem because we can't. It's on the billboards, it's on the commercials, it's on the everything today. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the little bit that you're trying to avoid it, and then now you get a little bit and it starts to build. And that little bit builds and it 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 builds. And all of a sudden one day you can't control it and you do something crazy. You do something mad. You do something that you regret. You do something on why my personal opinion on things that I've been trying to pay attention to is why most women have such traumatic lives as things happen to them is because of a boy, I wouldn't even put it in a man sense at that, but a boy that isn't able to deal with the problems that we got going on inside of us. We're trying to run away from it, and we're not trying to just make it be indifferent. Because you start to build up and then something happens and you do something that you don't even think it through. You react, and you could do something to a woman that can absolutely destroy them. And then now that's why unfortunately, it's a system, a circle that keeps going on. That us men are doing something. And then in the end, what does a woman say? Well, forget men. They're crazy. They're dangerous. And straight up, if you've been through that, men are crazy. They are dangerous, because every guy in reality has all this extra, the word I want to use here, it may not be appropriate, but this extra power behind us that is dangerous if it's not used in the right way. And it needs to be taught to and handled the right way. And the right way, in my mind, in my opinion, is to not avoid it, but to ask God to relieve you, I would say, of your symptoms, because you can't make it disappear. You can't just try to make it, you can't hide it. You can't run. You got to just be able to be with it and be able to just accept it. I have it. It's here. There's something in me that I don't like, and just realize it and do nothing at all with it, but allow God or whatever to be able to take that from you so that you can just keep moving. You can keep moving forward. You can't do it on your own. And this is why stuff today is getting, in my opinion, hostile, very hostile. Because a lot of these guys, these younger guys are hostile. They're like full of rage, just extreme rage, just this power that is it's scary. It is. And that's why, unfortunately, what do we see a lot more of today? Granted, as soon as we see one thing happen, such as the unfortunate stuff of a lot of these school shootings, as soon as it happens once and someone hears of that, it's going to happen more. But this stuff is happening everywhere now, everywhere more. So much more is going on. Why do we think that that's happening? Me personally, I believe that we're not really paying attention to the one that can help. We're trying to run away from it. The same way, I want to avoid what I'm even talking about in this video. I'm going to avoid God. I'm going to avoid this Jesus. I'm going to avoid all of these things. And the more that you try to avoid it, the more that something starts to build up inside of you. It starts to build up and build up and build up. And then when you have this problem over here, now all of a sudden you're going to lash out, you're going to react, you're going to respond, you're going to do something based on something that you're not even thinking about in the moment. But something happens, you hear a sound, you smell a smell, something goes on that just triggers you to just have this explosion. Something could have happened to you that someone used to smoke a certain type of cigarette when you were younger. And you're not thinking about it, it just happens, it's in your body, it's in you, that you're hiding and you're running away from. You didn't forgive. And you're not doing what you need to stop trying to avoid it. You're just trying to suppress it. And 33 years later, something happens. Do you smell that? And all of a sudden, your body goes into, and a lot of people in these certain circumstances, they straight up say it. I blacked out. I don't even know what I was doing. I just did it. And they do ruthless things, crazy stuff. Because you didn't do the main thing that I want to talk about is just accept it and move forward with it and realize for one, you're not powerful enough on your own to be able to get through it, and just realize that it's there and there's nothing wrong with it, but you need to be able to understand how to be able to live with it and not try to just run from it. Just be with it. And the more that you're with it, the more indifferent that you become with it. But the more you try to avoid it, the more powerful it's going to just keep giving to you, because you're giving it the power. Saying, I got a problem with that, so I'm going to keep running away from it. As opposed to saying, I got a problem with that, I'm going to go stand next to it. I'm going to stand there until it's nothing anymore, until it's meaningless. That's why for me, my main pastor, man, that I really like listening to, he says, when you start to get those feelings, that sensation, don't try to stop it. Just watch it. Watch it. Look at it. Pay attention to it. See that it's there. Don't be like, oh, I got to run away. No, just go into it. Just sit there. Most cases, all this stuff happens literally when you're alone. It's not when you're even around people. It's when you're alone. When you got no one around, you got nothing around, you're just sitting by yourself, you got nothing, you're alone. I mean, it doesn't even matter. You could be in a house with a whole bunch of people, but you're in your room and you are alone. This is when these thoughts and this stuff starts to happen. When it starts to happen, when you start to get these sensations in you, when you start to get this, I gotta do something, you want to do nothing at all, but just see that it's there and realize it's there. It's valid. It's there. And don't try to do anything about it. Don't run from it. Don't try to go further into it. Just see that it's there. And then that's where you say, hey, God, you know what? Don't lead me into that. Deliver me from that evil. Get that evil out of me. Get that evil away from me so that I could still be here. And that evil, it's going to be there, but you want to get away from that evil in you so that you can be able to move around it and don't have to keep running from it, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. All of these issues, it's everywhere. You can't just run. You can't escape it. You can't avoid it. You got to just deal and just move forward and be able to be around it. Thank you. Oh, you guys getting stuck back there? You're just dragging her around, buddy. Sorry, this is a leash-only park. I actually got talked to last year about being here with this boy walking off leash. And I was like, I'm going to just put him on the leash. I'll be okay. Even though no one could probably even see me here, but someone might have some binoculars and be like, I saw him. I go back over there and I got animal control and the sheriff waiting on me. I'm like, I'll just follow the rules. I'll follow the rules. Follow the rules and make sure everything is just going to be good to go. This avoiding stuff is something that I've been like, I don't know what it is, but since I've been talking about it, really, I've been seeing more and more and more of it and realizing how destructive it really is. Avoiding. It may give you, because this is the thing, it's going to give you some short-term results. But the short-term results may put you in a position that it's going to be devastating for the thing that you do that you're trying to get these short-term results from. It's going to be devastating. That you would have wished that you would have just, I don't know why I thought of this, but straight up, I'm just being a little too frank in this video. It may have been better for you to just watch the video instead of trying to avoid it, as opposed to running away from the video and going out there and doing it live in person to somebody and abusing somebody and taking advantage of somebody because you have all this anger and this evil inside of you that you're trying to avoid, and then it just comes out. And the first opportunity you get to be able to act upon, you do the extreme. You may just want to sit in the thoughts and just accept it as opposed to running away from it, so that you can just not destroy somebody else with your misery, with your struggles. It's one thing for us to struggle, and it's another to make someone else struggle because of our struggle. It's a big thing that I hear a lot, unfortunately, on a lot of these like movies with these like these end of the world things and all this stuff. There's always a character in these movies that say, I don't know why they put this scene in there so much, but it's real. The scene of somebody has somebody hostage and they're like torturing them, for instance. And they always use this line, I want you to feel how I feel. You feel so hurt, broken, destroyed, that you want to make and put that to be onto somebody else. That's not right. That's evil to the core of evil. And that's in reality just what's in all of us. And the only way in my mind that we can overcome that evil is to accept and know that that evil is in you. It's there. And if you don't think it's there, you're avoiding it to think that to think that it's there, and just wait for the right opportunity. That evil's going to be, it's going to be right head first into it. You're going to say, I can't believe I did that. How many times have you done something in your life and no one's going to sit here and say, oh, that's never happened to me? How many times have you done something in your life and you're like, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe that. For me, it was an interesting thing growing up with just my color, because when people would get mad, that's when they'll start calling me the names. They'll start calling me the N-word. They'll start calling me Blackie. They'll start going, using the race at me. Oh, I can't believe I said that. Oh, I didn't mean that. No, you did. You've been suppressing it. You've been avoiding it. You're thinking, oh, that's not me. I don't do that. I don't have that in me. You do have it in you, because something happens that it just comes out of you. I can't believe I did that. You hit somebody on accident. It's not accident. You did it because you're suppressing it. You're avoiding it, and it came out. Oh, I can't believe I just hit you. It's in there. It's in there. And the more that you try to avoid it, the next time it's just going to be faster, harder, and easier that it keeps coming out over and over and over again. Because as soon as you get to that first time that you do something, now the next time it's easier to do it. And that's the unfortunate thing with a lot of guys. The first time that they abuse a girl, it's hard to do it at the first time. But after a while, that's just who they become. They just do it over and over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. And then that just becomes normal in real life. And then they think that real life is what everyone else should adopt as real life. And that's why they want to make you feel the way that they feel. Like, I can't go watch a movie of anything that I can even remember that they don't use that line in this stuff. I want you to feel how I feel. And for me, I don't even want to put it in the sense of, even if I am happy and content and feeling pretty calm, I still don't want you to feel that. I want you to feel what you need. I don't want you to be me. I need you to be you. But most cases, it's an unfortunate thing when someone is hurting, that they want everyone else to hurt. And they'll do everything they can to make everyone around them hurt. Instead of dealing with what's going on, they keep avoiding it and thinking that I can, if this is, man, I could talk days and days about all this stuff. I might, but I'll see what I got to do tomorrow. But this is why a lot of laws and regulations and stuff get pushed, because people are avoiding issues that they say, now I need to make it so everyone has to do it the same way I do it, as opposed to saying, no, just deal with what's in there. Deal with the jealousy. Deal with the greed. Deal with it. Get through it. Be able to realize that it's there, but you don't need to act on it. Don't run from it and don't act on it. Be indifferent to it. And then you won't need to force people to do you. You'll be able to allow people to be able to be themselves. You don't need to control people anymore. Because for me, questions I'm asking, and I'm always trying to figure out and why I go into silence and why I stop eating and why I just do what I do, is to learn, why does something out here want to control us so much? Just control us. And in my mind, it's because they haven't gotten through those issues. They haven't gotten through lust. They haven't gotten through greed. They haven't gotten through envy. They haven't gotten through laziness. They haven't gotten through these things. They haven't been able to be indifferent to it. So that indifference is forcing them, driving them to do what they got to do. They don't get a choice. And they're not even acting on their desires. They're acting on the desire of something evil, something that's consuming them. This world is fascinating, but it's not, I guess the words I can use there are simple and easy. It may be simple, but it's not easy. It may be easy, but it's not simple. It's simple to live. It really is. Especially when you have food to eat. But it's not easy to dance around and be able to live on these lands. It's in reality, straight up, gonna be just what it is, a struggle every day. But that struggle, in my mind, gets easier and easier when I just let go and realize I'm not in control of it. I can't dictate, I can't do it. Something else needs to be able to guide me to be able to do it. And that something else is there for you when you realize, for one, you can't do it on your own. And two, that there's something going wrong. There's something wrong in you. Something wrong in you. You got some anger in there. You got some fear in there. You got all this stuff in you. And the more that you're like, I don't, the more you're just running away and you're avoiding.